we are back on sports, and let me say this now. This week has been a really good week and good weekend for sports. I'll say that right now. I just want to say before I get started on this video that this week's videos will be the last week for about 2 weeks or so going in, because let me explain, all right? I'm very busy this week, but on Sunday I have a half marathon, and then Monday coming up, the following Monday coming up, I go to London. So I'm not going to have time. I'm not going to be here. So I don't have time to really do videos. I'm going to still get the videos out this week, and then that's it. When I get back, we'll start back up our videos. So as you see, I'm very busy. I still haven't even started packing yet. So yeah, very busy this week and got a lot of stuff to do. So like I said, when I get back from London, we'll start back up the videos. But this week will be the last week for videos. Now let's get started on the Phillies. That's right. For those who don't know, the Phillies season opener is today. That's right. They play the Reds, and I'm looking forward to it because Philly season is here. If you have not seen what has been going on, we've been talking about it, throughout spring training, how these games, these heart attack games, they're ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. I'm sitting here watching, I'm thinking, this is how our season is going to be, except they've only had, one blowout? And he came and said this in both meetings. The Phillies had a blowout against their future stars, which kind of, begs the question whether this is a good or bad thing. Because they won 19-4. They had scored like 13, 14 runs or something like that in the bottom of the third inning, by the bottom of the third inning. So, the Phillies had to show the youngins how it was done, but the future stars that are coming up. Now, in the second meeting they had with this, the future Philly stars were actually winning the game, and it was the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs left. They were only down by 1 run, and the Phillies turned it around, and they came back to rally once again to win the game. This is something that is it's inconsistently consistent. Here we go again. And this is going to be a problem. We talked about this on Twitter with the bullpen. All right? Because it's the bullpen that's giving up these runs. It's not really that much of the starters. They coast through and they bring these guys in. Then when the pen comes in, what happens, especially later in the innings, they start giving up these runs. And then the bats have to respond when it comes to, almost near the end of the game. There's a huge problem with that because you can't always rely on your bats. As we know with the Phillies, because we have so much new personnel, the bats aren't there to just say, okay, here we go again, here come the fightins. It's not the same team. It's not. And you can't expect them to do that throughout the entire season. So I put it like this. When you're going to see these games and they start blowing games, and all of a sudden you think, okay, well, the bats will save us. And the bats don't. And then it becomes a really bad string. And then fans start to complain. I'm telling you now, talk about this now, bring up this issue now, so that you know that you're being ahead of the curve because you know how the media is. They're going to wait till mid-season to talk about this. They're going to wait. And they're going to say, oh, well, clearly there's a problem with the bullpen, and they're not going to say anything until mid-season and then make it seem like they always knew all along when they didn't even address it to begin with. But let me say this now. Phillies, you have a problem on your hands. And it doesn't have anything to do with your players. It has nothing to do with the front office. You know what? We've talked about this before, and we've seen mascots where they mess around, they play around with people, whether they're in the stands or security guards or stuff like that. We've seen it, right? Okay. Phillies, sometimes you gotta watch what mascots you let into your park. You wanna know why? Because they can't go around sexually harassing women.
Our next telecast kicks off the 2016 regular season from Cincinnati. Jeremy Hellickson takes the mound.
You gotta be kidding me. Come on, man. Look, I'll pull like this. You see her face? She was like, oh. And he's like, yeah, you like that, don't you? Yeah, take it off to your face. Come on, man. You can't just go around doing that. I'm just saying. Damn. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You know what? Let's move on. Let's talk about people who do like to take it to the face, and that's the one, Sidney Crosby. That's right. For people who did not see the Penguins versus the Flyers yesterday, you know what? It was an absolute disgrace what I actually saw. Look, you cannot dive like that and think that you're going to get some type of respect. The refs are missing calls. Don't get me wrong. The Penguins were being aggressive. So, yeah, they beat the hell out of the Flyers. They did. And I'm not going to make any excuse for it because the Flyers should have played better. They should have, all right? But we do play the Penguins again on Saturday. So we'll get that rematch. I'm not worried about that. The fact that Sidney Crosby flopped the way he did, okay, and then, we're just going to give him the call. Ref's just going to abide by it like he stole the call because clearly there was nothing really there, all right? And then what I'm seeing on Twitter, Penguins fans, of course, they always got to take it more than what it is. You got to wish death on players. You got to drop the M-bomb against, Simmons. It seems like you do this constantly every time we match up. Do you not have an original bone in your body when it comes to this Pens fans? And it's not all of you. Don't get me wrong, because there's Pens fans that watch this video, you know what I mean? And we always talk. So that's not the point. The point is, there's people in your fan base who consistently do this all the time to try and get a rise out of people. And when they were confronted, all right, yesterday on Twitter, then they want to start blocking people. Well, maybe you shouldn't have put that out there. How about that? See, this is something that has not been fixed for a very long time. Listen, remember the video I showed you a couple years ago when I was at the Flyers game and the Penguins fan was just randomly punching people? Like, you serious? Like, and they had to escort her out and she was acting a fool? This is something that, don't get me wrong, all fan bases have these type of people in their ranks, all right? But it seems like every time the Flyers and the Penguins get together, Penguins fans come out the woodwork to go the extra mile to act this way, and I don't understand why. Seriously, it's a hardcore hockey game. I understand that the passions are there, but that's going too far. So if I sit here and say that, hey, your team are a bunch of floppers, or other Flyers fans are saying, hey, your team are a bunch of floppers, your counter is, well, we're wishing death on your players. What? That's going way too far. Look, it's quite evident what happened yesterday, you know what I mean? But like I said, I'm not going to make any excuses for the Flyers for the way they played. The Penguins lit them the fuck up. They did, okay? And I know the playoff hunt, we're still in the playoff hunt, and at one point we were neck and neck with Detroit, and then now we're talking about, we're about to leapfrog Boston and all this. Look, it's just simple. It does not matter the points at this point, I should say, all right? Just win. You only have a number of games left. One, we played Detroit, okay? So I'm not worried about that. Just win. That's it. Just win out. You only have a number of games left. It's not that many, all right? Just for this week. Finish it. That's all you got to do. If you win out, guess what? You're going to make the playoffs. It's that simple. You can't sit and rely on other teams to beat other teams or other teams to lose just to get in. We know how that is. That is a sign of not only desperation from the fan base, but a sign of a weak team. That's what it is. If you need other teams to help you to get into the playoffs, you have to stand on your own. You know and I know, once the postseason starts, these teams, they take it up 5 different notches. And you know they're not going to play that. You know every time. Washington Capitals, we talked about this before. Washington Capitals, they're going to get into the playoffs. They play the Rangers. We know what happens there. Every time, like clockwork, Rangers take advantage of them. They destroy them. Every time. All right? The teams on the playoffs, let's say, and this is the time for the Flyers. For those who have not been paying attention to the Flyers, they've been playing pretty good hockey. So they can ride this hot streak into the playoffs. And if they do that, they're a team to be feared. But you really have to work hard at this. And you know what? I'm getting real tired of hearing about Sean Couturier. I have to say this because Bill Clement, I understand that Sean Couturier is your favorite player. And if he's not your favorite player, well, he must be your favorite player now. Because every time I'm watching the Flyers game, and they have these, who are you going with your star of the game, your standout star of the game, Bill Clement consistently, for years and years, keeps picking Sean Couturier. Even during watching the game, all you got to talk about is Sean Couturier in defense. And it's like, look, yes, the guy is usually prided on his defense, but you've got to be kidding me that like I said, I'm not much of a fan of Couturier myself. I'm not, okay? I'll admit that. But for this constant ass-kissing of Couturier, that is something that, no, you have to start looking around. Seriously, Gostisbehere, he needs help defensively. He does. You can't sit here and tell me that Couturier is the answer to everything. Even if Couturier had, look, this is a team game, all right? When somebody scores, it's a lapse on defense from all around the team. All right? It's not just one person. So even if Couturier is playing his best game ever even he could, all right? It doesn't mean that the rest of the team is okay. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. One guy doesn't make up this entire team. And I'm getting real tired of Bill Clement. Even though I respect Bill Clement, I'm getting tired of him leaning so much on Couturier for everything. Well, if he has a good game, the Flyers will be okay. No, they won't. If the rest of the pieces aren't together and they're not playing at a high level, guess what? It's going to fall apart. Jesus Christ. Speaking of falling apart, I guess we should move on. Like I said, Flyers, this is the week where Flyers fans, if you weren't sold on stuff, this is even non-Flyers fans who want to get into hockey, but they live in Philadelphia, this is the week to watch them. Even if you really, want to get an understanding for hockey, this is definitely the week. Because this is an urgency week to get into the playoffs. It is. I want to move on to Philadelphia Union. Yeah, Philadelphia Union. Now look, Philadelphia Union, A lot of people don't talk about them that much. And you know what? Like I said before, they were in first place at one point. We should celebrate that because it's probably the last time you'll see them in first place. But they had a hell of a game against the Chicago Fire not too long ago. And I want to show you the actual conditions of how they were playing. Because this is how football, whether it's American football, overseas football, this is how the game should be played outside.
Somebody a few rows down. I think this ball just has to be swung in with pace and see if Lampsey can handle it.
You didn't have to do this when you played indoor soccer. You had a break. You didn't care about the forecast.
That's how it should be played. The degree of difficulty has been amped up quite a few notches for that. But you know what? No matter if you're watching football here, American football, soccer versus MLS or EPL football overseas or wherever, flopping is still flopping when you get desperate. And yes, Union, you need to stop flopping.
Now launching it forward. Senior is open.
Talk about the hold-up play of Sapong, trying to keep that. Feels the contact, goes down.
But does that get the Griffin Force flop of the week? No, not even close. That's right. Let's talk about football overseas. Since we're already on soccer, we're moving overseas. Let's talk about Chelsea versus Aston Villa, or should I call them Floppin' Villa? You've got to be kidding me, Aston Villa players. Look, you already get a lot of flack for not showing any effort or any heart. But the fact that you would do this when you are being pretty much pummeled this entire game, that you would decide to flop and try and get a call, and then it doesn't go your way.
Here. And now the referee stops play.
There's not much contact, is there? I don't think there's any.
And the fact that this guy laid on the ground for 5 minutes, that's right, 5 minutes afterwards, then later, as you can see, little tap on the ear, let's just fall on the ground, roll around, and act like this was such severe damage, like he was just hit with a bat. You've got to be kidding me, all right? And like I said, lay down on the ground afterwards for about 5 minutes. No one got a yellow card, no one got a red card, there was no warnings issued, nothing. He was just stalling for time. Here's the thing, it didn't matter how long you stalled for time, because Chelsea put in work and clean sheeted you, that's right. 4-0. You deserve to get beat even more. But here's the thing. Aston Villa had more shots on goal than Chelsea did. Chelsea had better possession, but they had better chances, Aston Villa. The fact that they would sit here and do something like this, I can understand why their fans are so upset. You don't show any heart. You don't show any passion. And as we know, you're getting ready to get relegated. The fan base deserves more. And the fact that you sat and did this, it upset them so much that the fans start to react at the stadium. We started seeing, signs thrown on the pitch. As a matter of fact, they decided they were just going to start demonstrating and protesting in the stands. As far as I'm concerned, those fans, I feel bad for them. I really do. Because, like I said, they deserve better. They do. And I don't care if you're a rival. Look, I play like this. In order to have great rivalries, you need to have teams who really care when they're playing against each other. So even if, you're a rival of Aston Villa's, you have to understand that what they're going through right now is so bad because they don't deserve that. Like I said, the fan base does not deserve that. They will be relegated, and as far as I'm concerned, Aston Villa should not even be thought of coming back up into the EPL, should not even have a chance until they learn to have heart, to play passionately, and respect the game as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, Aston Villa fans, I really do feel bad for you. I do, because that's absolutely atrocious. It is. There's no reason you should have to go through that. But speaking of lack of respect to the game, I guess we should move on to basketball. That's right. Now, this week, basketball has taken a lot. I mean a lot of L's. A lot. That's right. And for those who don't talk about, like I said, lack of respect to the game, we always talk about James Harden flopping all over the place. But sometimes, like I said, it's not just James Harden, because his flopping becomes infectious. Let's just talk about the Houston Rockets, once again, flopping to try to win.
John Paxson, a lot of decisions this summer. Jerome Morley, who came out with comments today saying the struggles of Houston has been on me. He's going to have some decisions to make this summer as well.
He is a footer inside, won't go. Rebound Chicago. That may do it. McDermott is there.
Anybody who plays basketball, you know when you grab a rebound and someone's rushing you from behind, you stick your butt out, it's to give space. It may back them up, but it's not going to knock them down unless there's some type of little kid or something. That's a grown-ass man doing that, to embellish, to get a call. That's Beverly, and as we know, Beverly does this from time to time. Some people even call him dirty, given what's happened between him, I believe, in Westbrook. But let's be honest here. He's not going to fall from that move. That's absolutely ridiculous. But it gets worse. Watch Trevor Ariza, that's right, damn near the baseline when he's going to take this jump shot because he's going for a three, all right? He's going to be over on the side, he's going to take the shot, and does he get fouled? Yes, he gets fouled. Here's the thing, gets fouled on the arm right here. There's no reason for you to fall down on the ground and embellish to try and get the call.
Looking in the East, huge game for both.
And obviously, Houston, no timeouts left here. You got to start thinking about looking at that three tonight. They're 7 of 22, 32% from downtown.
Ariza with Mirotic defending. And Mirotic knocked him down
Well, this has
as
been
he shot the three.
3 blunders down the stretch here for Chicago.
Oh, my goodness.
The offensive foul on McDermott, the foul on Moore versus James Harden, and here's the foul on Mirotic. That's a good call.
And within all those antics that the Houston Rockets pulled, guess what? The Bulls still won the basketball game. So it goes to show you that you did all that for nothing. You just made yourself look bad for nothing. Look, let's be honest here, okay? Houston Rockets fans will talk to you right now. Do you really think the Houston Rockets have a chance to make a run in the playoffs and do this? I mean, seriously, let's be honest here. Do you think that they can just get it together as quick as possible and make a run? Do you see them beating Golden State? Do you see them beating OKC? Do you see them beating San Antonio? Like, when you look at this lineup, all right, you see these players, regardless, all right, because you have a good, solid core of players, because what we're hearing, that the rumors that are going on now, that the reason Kevin McHale was fired was because James Harden, because he went and requested it. He couldn't play with them, apparently, all right? Now that we're hearing the rumors about, that Dwight Howard was going to be traded, which, don't get me wrong, don't care for Dwight Howard, but let's be honest here. For what we're hearing, rumors again, that James Harden went to the front office and said, look, you got to trade Dwight. Because there's not enough basketballs on the court for him. Because, as we know, Dwight Stickum, he wants the ball more. So, it's like, what do? You know what I mean? This is just something that it's going to linger over your basketball team. It just is. And it's just sad that this is what they have to pull to try and win games. I will put it like this. If you tighten up on defense and you spend more time playing the right way, you won't have to pull the flopping act to try and get your way. Speaking of teams who need to play the right way, the Philadelphia 76ers. You cannot tell me that this is all about the process and you need to trust the process. When the Sixers play the Hornets and you throw up 44 attempts for a three-pointer, that's right, 44 attempts behind the line, and you only make 16 of them. These games, night in and night out, are fucking embarrassing to watch. And I'm sitting there as a fan like, I can't believe this shit is happening. You cannot sit here and tell me that it's okay. The front office has made this a fucking joke. They should be embarrassed. This is why people don't want to fucking deal with them, okay? Not only that, the players, because the personnel got there, they can't play because they're a fucking embarrassment, okay? And then you got the fan base who believes this, trust the process. I've seen this shit so much last week on Twitter. And I understand that some people are joking, so I understand that. But there are people who really believe in this shit. This process. There isn't a fucking process. Anyone who saw Sixer City the other night, okay, with Jerry Colangelo, he'll tell you right now, even though he kind of sugarcoated it, still, again, there isn't a fucking process. This is done. The players are embarrassing themselves, the front office fucking embarrass themselves, and now you fans who believe in this shit are embarrassing yourselves. Don't sit here and tell me it's okay, because it's not. The fact is, this is done, as far as I'm concerned. Don't tell me we're just going to stop another draft pick. After what we heard last week about how they were just going to give away the farm for certain players for a point guard, no, I don't want to hear this, we're just stacking picks again. I don't want to hear this shit. Especially when we all know Okafor's still on the trade block, and Embiid is still on the trade block. At one point, Noel was on the trade block. I don't want to hear it. Hinkie has already said himself that nobody is fucking safe on his team. If he's got to make a move and pull the trigger and trade someone, he will. He doesn't have any loyalty to any of these building blocks that you keep fucking talking about, fans. But that's okay though, right? Right? Trust the fucking process. Yeah, right. And mind you, during the whole time of Sixer City, majority of Sixer City, that episode was to show, once again, the construction of their new practice facility. So you got all this fucking money, because guess what? You can't give it to players because who are you going to buy? Because no one wants to come here. So you have all this money stocked up. No one wants to come here. So let's just, make a new facility. That's pretty much what it is. And I talked before about the new facility, and you've seen the designs, and I said, it does look great. It looks amazing. But you gotta be kidding me that you're pretty much rewarding players. You are. For playing badly. That's what you're doing. If they want better things, if they want a better facility, then let them fucking earn it. But you don't want to do that either. I don't understand. When the Sixers are playing this fucking bad, and you got Villanova. That's right, Villanova. Congratulations, Villanova, who smokes Oklahoma. That's what they did. They absolutely bodied the shit out of Oklahoma. And as we know, the game is tonight. And I'm picking I'm picking Villanova to beat UNC. We'll talk about it in a minute, okay? But after you see the way Villanova played, then you have people coming out and saying, can Villanova beat the Sixers? All right, you know what? Let's have this talk real quick about best in Philly. Now, once again, I have to come out and I have to let people know exactly how this works because this is how the city is. For those who have not read any articles, already you're talking about how they shouldn't have a parade here. If Villanova wins it all, we shouldn't have a parade in Philly because Villanova isn't Philly. Now, remember, when I made comments like this before, people didn't understand. And I put it like this, and I had a lot of people, how can you say this, blah, blah, blah. It's because that's how it is. That's how this community is here. And it seems like people who aren't part of this fucking community, and I'm talking in real life, I'm not talking about on the internet, okay? When you're not part of the sports community here, you don't understand why things I'm saying, are being said. And then you question, you're like, what? I don't understand. No, you're just wrong. No, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's this simple. These are teams that a lot of people, I put it like this, people consider Philly, all right? You got Temple. You got St. Joe's, you got LaSalle, you got Drexel, and you got Penn. 5 teams, all right? Anything outside of that, people will say are not Philly. Now, granted, Villanova is a good team, and you should root on Villanova because they're on the outskirts. They're out there. They're not part of Philly, but they're out there. You know what I mean? Because if you look at the line, and somebody you can say, well, look where these places are. A lot of them aren't in Philadelphia. That's true. All right. A lot of people that root for certain teams aren't in Philly. All right, they're not. Villanova's one of them. Okay, Lower Merion, people don't consider Philly. You know what I mean? Even though a lot of people like say Lower Merion High School, Philly. No. It's not Philly. A lot of people don't consider it Philadelphia. Okay. So you have to understand, when the media talks about best in Philly, or people say it's best in Philly, they try to just say, hey, it's in PA, but it's as close to Philadelphia as you're going to get, so we're just attached the city to it because Philly is popular. That's how it is. However, if anyone has not seen the backlash that's been going on here because Villanova's winning, you have to understand you have a number of people who are saying, we don't care about Villanova. Like this, when Villanova beat Oklahoma, there was people walking outside, Villanova, whoa! And they were partying out here. They were just going crazy. But you have a lot of people, like I said, a lot of salt from Temple and all these other teams. They're saying, no, they're not even here. They're not here in Philly. You should be supporting us. And right now, those schools and the fan bases, they feel a little left out of the fray. And I told you this would happen, did I not? I told you as soon as they decide to lose, because the media, we'll show you the reactions from the fans and the schools, and as soon as they lose, drop them like a bad habit and move on to the next, because it's about covering who's winning, not who's actually from Philly. I told you that shit would happen. But yet, here we are. It's amazing how we're having this discussion about who's Philly and who's not. But once again, when I say this, people are going to get upset and whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm rooting for Villanova to win. I am. They're a regional team. They're not Philly. They're a regional team. I like to see them do well. You know what I mean? But like I said, I figured they were going to beat Oklahoma. And I said I had UNC beating Syracuse, which UNC beat Syracuse. And let's be honest here, all right? UNC had a little tough time in the beginning because they were trying to fill out Syracuse. And then, they started leading at the end of that first half. They kind of, pushed the gap. And then afterwards, they extended that lead. And they beat Syracuse, which I kind of figured was going to happen. So now we have Villanova tonight versus UNC. I'm taking Villanova to beat UNC. I think the only way that UNC has a chance is if they play down low, because I feel UNC's bigs are I think they're a lot tougher than Villanova's bigs. So on defense, they're going to have a problem. But if Villanova decides they're clicking like they were the other night and they're clicking on their jump shots, it's going to be a long fucking night for UNC. I'm just saying that right now. So I'm picking Villanova to win all this, to win the championship. That's right. And you know what? They win the championship. This place is going to explode. I should say a quarter of this place is going to explode. Only a quarter. Because like I said, you have all those other schools that are going to say, okay, you won. Congratulations. But we're not going to cheer for you. We'll see what happens. You know? But speaking of more college, for those who were not keeping up with what was going on with college and the extracurricular activities that were going on throughout this, this Final Four setup, let's talk about the college three-point and slam dunk contest. That's right. Okay, so first off, the three-point contest I really enjoyed because they had the men and they had the women. And then each winner from, each champion from the men and women bracket had to face off against each other. That's right. And that girl was so damn good. That dude couldn't hit. He couldn't make a shot if he prayed. Okay? And she took it easy on him because she went, 18 or 20 her last final round. Then when she played him, she only put up 14 because he put up 12 and she backpedaled. You know what I mean? She backpedaled for him to make him look good. She was dogging him. She was dogging all her competitors when it came to shooting the three ball. It was crazy to see. So she put him in his place. You know what I mean? It was great to see. But the slam dunk contest, let me talk about this. Slam dunk contest for the college was really well done. The first round was like, yo, we got ourselves a slam dunk contest. This is really well done. All right? First round was great. Second round, one person made a dunk. Only made one dunk. Everyone else did not make a dunk. So you didn't have a second round. That's right. They had to have a dunk off because you didn't know who was going to go into the third round. They didn't know what was going on. So nobody it's not that no one didn't make the dunk. They couldn't make their dunk. Every time they tried, they missed, and then they tried again and again, and they got fatigued. And then they couldn't do it. So no one made their dunks. So what do you do when no one makes their dunks? And the entire group of people don't make their dunks. What do you do? You know what I mean? One guy. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? So then they had to start bringing out the stunts. And this is where we have to talk about this. Because I don't understand how you bring out a mascot, right? And you're going to jump over this mascot. A pancake. You're going to jump over a pancake. And then you fail horribly at it.
This is how not to do a dunk contest. Mississippi State guard Craig Sword was expected to put on a show at the NCAA dunk contest, but couldn't manage to clear this pancake.
Whoa, and now goes the pancake. He's been pancaked.
Hey, he's been pancaked. Can't get up. Sword's just trying to get a dunk in.
They're going to let him have one here. Whoa! And he got pancaked again.
That's the highlight of the night. They can stop the show right now.
The comical dunk didn't win the contest for Sword, with University of Mary's Devin Douglas taking home the championship belt.
Oh, look at that. What are we watching?
And they're absolutely correct. What are we watching? And that's what I was thinking when I was watching. I'm like, what am I watching here? It's unreal. I understand it's college, but it's unreal how much a non-dunk can steal the show. Because let's be honest, I'm being honest here. The dunks were nice, but that was clearly the highlight of the night. It was. It was absolutely comical. You think, I'm watching this at night, you know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, it was really funny to watch. It's one of those lighthearted moments that it just goes to show you that, things, I'll play this. If you're trying to win a dunk contest, that's not the way to go about it, clearly. But, the sheer desperation. I want to give him credit for at least trying. How about that? Can we give him credit for trying? But it did steal the show. Speaking of stealing the show, now that boxing is back, let's talk boxing. We'll talk about it. The Can Man, AB, Adrian Broner. Let's talk about this. For those who don't know, Adrian Broner had a fight on Friday, right? On April 1st, on Friday, against one of Mayweather's proteges. That's right, people he was training, he's promoting. And for those who have not seen this build-up between these two, this has been really weird. Because Adrian Broner has not only gone after this fighter, but he's also gone after Mayweather as well, because Mayweather has said some kind of disparaging remarks about, Adrian Broner. Now, mind you, Adrian Broner has looked up to Mayweather. We know this. And for, as he called him, Big Brother, for him to come out and just absolutely disrespect Adrian Broner had a problem with that. So, I guess we should start from the beginning with this, with Adrian Broner, as he decides to toss it up in Walmart.
He must not know. I'm AB, I don't need no change, bruh.
Who tosses up in Walmart? You gotta be kidding me. Oh my God. Oh, hold on. That's maximum trolling. It is, yo, did y'all see the people in line? They look disgruntled as hell. You cannot, oh my God. You cannot tell me that he didn't purposely hold up that line and stunt that hard at a Walmart. Oh my God. But no, there's more. There's more. That's right. Apparently, Floyd Mayweather, they asked Floyd Mayweather when Adrian Broner did that. Floyd Mayweather said, he came out with his remarks on what he thought about the issue. He said that Adrian Broner, he hates to see people like Adrian Broner when they do something like that they hurt themselves. That's right. That's what he said. He's hurting himself. He's embarrassing himself. And Adrian Broner had a huge problem with that and decided that he's going to respond to Floyd Mayweather via video.
Hey, I got some shit to say, man. Like, some shit that ain't been sitting well with me. Like, I've been seeing a lot of blogs and motherfuckers been hitting me up talking about Floyd talking about me again. Not once, but this has happened on multiple occasions. Like, this goes back to what I say. Real niggas don't do this type of shit, bruh. If you my so-called big bro, we all, when we together side to side, we all big bro, little bro, I want to see you do this. I want to see you surpass me. I want to see you do all this good shit. And then when you do an interview, you talk bad about me. Like, how real is that? Like, what type of nigga is you? I don't give a fuck what you did, nigga. If it was real or not, nigga, no, if it happened or not, nigga. Anytime you was in them lawsuits, nigga, with your baby mama, or and they say you hitting her with 3 pieces, like you fighting Kodos. I don't get into that. I don't say he should have did this or he should have that. You know what I say? Fuck all that. My nigga ain't do that. Fuck all that. My nigga ain't do that. My nigga worried, he counting some money somewhere. That's the type of shit I say. I don't say, hey, Floyd hurting himself. Come on, bro. You was the same nigga, like, what, 5 years ago, 4-5 years ago, burning money in the club. Come on, bro. You like 39. So you was 34 at the time. 34, 35 at the time, bro. You burning money in the club. But I ain't say nothing about that. Shit. You know what? That was motivation to me. That was motivation that one day I was going to have enough money to where I didn't give a fuck to throw up some change in Walmart. I didn't think that'd ruffle your feathers, my nigga.
Now, there's more to this video, so what I'll do is I'll put it below in the info bar, okay, if you really want to see it. But this fight that happened between Broner and Theophane was for a championship, and to be honest, both people lost before I even get any further. Why? Because, number one, Broner did not make weight. He was 0.4 of a pound overweight, and because of that, he was stripped of the title, okay? Now, here's the thing. They said that Broner had 2 hours to lose 0.4 of a pound. And I'm sure some of you are saying, well, that shouldn't be that big of a deal. You got 2 hours to do it. You can do it. Here's the thing. We don't know how long, I should say, it took, Adrian Broner to lose the weight that he already did lose before getting weighed in. Not to mention how much it probably took toll on him. So we don't know. Because for those who don't know, when they told him that he had 2 hours to lose 0.4 of a pound, he turned around, took a sip of Gatorade, and walked off. That was his indication that, he was not going to try and lose weight. So he lost the title, all right? However, Ashley Theophane, if he beat Broner that night, he would have gained the actual title. Now, as we know, Ashley Theophane got his ass whooped. That's what happened. He got whooped. Now, let's talk about this, because Adrian Broner came out and he looked great in the first half of this fight, all right? He's going a lot of combinations. He looks like he's fighting, all right? He looks like he wants to win. Then in the second half of this fight, he kind of shifts down mode, and he's just becoming a sniper, and he's just waiting. He's going to counter, he's going to hit you with 1 or 2 shots here, but he's taking a number of shots from Theophane, all right? Needless to say, Theophane, even though Theophane questioned, Broner's power during, before this fight, questioned it, he, wasn't strong enough, Broner showed just how strong he was, and Theophane could not handle that, all right? And the fact is that the fight was stopped, all right? Because it did need to be stopped. I mean, don't get me wrong. What it was stopped on, because let's be honest here, he was hit below the belt, and when Theophane turned, he looked at the ref and he put his hand up. He's like, he's not putting his hand up to say, I quit. He's putting his hand up to say, hey, I was hit below the belt. The ref took that as, as a mistake. He took that as, I'm quitting. But the thing is, throughout the rest of these rounds, Theophane was in trouble. He was in trouble. There was times where he could have been finished off, but the bell saved him at the time. And Broner was like, man, I wish I had a little bit more time. So he was in trouble. He got to a lot of points where he was stumbling, he was against the ropes, and he's just taking punches. And Broner's trying to finish this guy off. So round after round, that just happens, and it becomes a problem. You know what I mean? So it went on longer than I feel as though it should have, but I understand you want to give the fighter a chance. The ref did make a mistake in, thinking that he's complaining, saying that, I'm done fighting, as opposed to complaining, about the low blow. So, however, here is the biggest part of this. Adrian Broner afterwards goes on about this whole Floyd Mayweather, about how he's tired of Floyd talking about him, and challenges Floyd Mayweather to a fight. Floyd Mayweather is sitting at the corner, because now he's a promoter, of course. He is laughing, and he is joking, and he is clapping. Now, here's the thing. The way it came off to me was the way he was laughing, because everyone was saying, oh, it came off as a joke. Deadspin wrote an article saying Adrian Broner made himself look like a joke, challenging Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather looked like it was a nervous laughing clap. It was almost reminded me of how Brett Favre was clapping when Bruce Jenner was giving you an ESPY award. He was just like, right? That's Floyd was like, ha, 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 ha. Is anyone buying this? I hope no one's buying this. That's what it looked like. It looked like that Floyd Mayweather was a little scared. And I say this due to the fact that Broner said, when he challenged to this fight, this wasn't, oh, let's put this on TV and pay-per-view. No. Broner said, look, I'm a man, you disrespected me where I'm from, you don't do that. He was like, we don't need to do it on TV. We can get in the gym and we can spar it out. That's what he said. We can spar it out. It had nothing to do with the big lights and big time and all that. He didn't care. He just wanted to fight. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to fight Floyd Mayweather for everything he said. Now, for those who have not heard what Mayweather has said in response, I will put the link in the info bar, but he has said, his response was a fucking joke. He's going on saying, he tried to play like this big brother role again. These kids didn't have, anything, like I didn't have anything, I didn't have a Floyd Mayweather to guide me when I did this. He should be worried about life after boxing and all this other shit. And I'm thinking to myself, that doesn't answer Broner's question. Broner wants to punch you in the face, whether it's in front of millions of people or in a small gym, sparring. He has something he needs to get off his chest because he feels you disrespect him. This is a personal issue now. This has nothing to do just with boxing. I'll play this. I feel as though this fight should happen. And everyone who is sitting here saying it's funny, and no, think about it. This is Floyd Mayweather fighting a younger, hungrier, stronger Floyd Mayweather. That's what this is. Do people not understand that? I'll put it like this. Floyd could possibly get by on his experience. And most likely speak, I would love to see this fight happen because it's the same style. It's a mirrored style. So we wouldn't, we would have to see if experience would really overtake youth. We don't know. I think this fight needs to happen. Like I said, I don't care if it's in a back alley somewhere. It needs to happen. But the fact that Floyd tried to brush this off, and he was like, it was a joke, it was April Fool's, it was the biggest joke of the night, blah, blah, that doesn't answer the question. Yes or no, are you going to fight this man after you've insulted him? And I know it may sound like I'm sticking up for Adrian Broner, but you have to look at it from a specific point of view. Once again, I've said it before, you don't want to always look at your heroes will turn to assholes if you keep trying to look up to them all the time. You got to be self-reliant. The fact that he has followed Floyd Mayweather for so long, he considers him his big brother, only for Floyd to turn around and talk about him like that. And it's not even fight promotion at this point. All right? This is not like, because he was getting ready to fight Ashley. No. This isn't the fight promotion. This isn't the fight game at this point. That's different. That's to sell tickets, all right? This is about incidents that's outside of boxing. That's personal. So as far as I'm concerned, I think Adrian Broner did the right thing. And I think if he did get this fight, he would take it so seriously and train so hard. I think Floyd is a little scared. I think he is in this point. But the fact that you're just going to brush off challenges and say, it's not that big of a deal. Look, at this point, when you piss somebody off personally, you talking about them personally, your record doesn't matter. Your legacy does not matter. At that point, it's, I don't give a fuck who you are. Like I said, that's how it is. I don't give a fuck who you are, or who you think you are, or who you know, or what promotion you're from, and none of that shit matters. Fight. That's what it is, and that's what Broner is looking for. So as far as I'm concerned, like I said, I don't want to feel like I'm defending Broner, but at this point, it's hard for me not to defend him, because everything I'm seeing says, oh, Broner's a joke, oh, Broner is this, oh, Broner is that. It's laughable that he tried to call out Floyd. Every piece of the media is sitting here and saying it's a joke that he would call him out. I don't think it's a joke. Given everything that we know, and like I said, all personal stuff, yes, this is something he wants. Like I said, it doesn't have to be in a big ring and big lights and get paid and all that shit. It doesn't matter. And the fact that Floyd would try and bring up life after boxing and all this shit, no. No. Floyd has to look at himself and say, you know what? The things that I did back then, granted, he said he didn't have anyone to guide him, so he was acting a fool back then. But you have to also understand that's the influence that you had, Floyd, on others. So when they do that, instead of saying that he's embarrassing himself and everything, pull him to the side and talk to him. You don't go run to the fucking media. That's different. Especially if y'all was next to each other and y'all talking on a personal level and y'all always talking, you're texting, you're calling, and you're buddy with each other. And at one point, he was with the Money Team's promotion. Then he left to have his own promotion. So they, on a personal level, they know. We've seen it. Broner would come, after a fight, he would come back into the locker room, and Floyd would be in the locker room waiting for him so he can give him a hug and all that shit. No, this is something that is very personal. And I feel as though, like I said, all the glitz, all the glamour, all that shit, all the money, none of that shit matters. It's time to knuckle up. It's time to put on the gloves, and it's time to settle this. And it seems like Floyd, like I said, for what I'm getting from it, from a fighter's point of view, he's scared. He's scared. He's fighting, like I said, he's fighting himself at this point. And it's not one time did Floyd take any fucking responsibility. Not one. To say, hey, he's a product of something that I've created. I've created this, this influence. Not once. It's a huge problem. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, even though we know that Broner, he's brash, he's cocky, a lot of people think he shoots his mouth off more than what his talent really is. And a lot of people don't like Broner. People like to watch, they tune in to watch Broner get beat. It's one of those things where even though he's all these type of things, I don't think that Adrian Broner, if we're going to pick sides here, is the bad guy in this one. That's just me. I don't know. Depends on how you guys feel as well. I would love to hear what you have to say on this one. Like I said, there's just so much to this story. And as far as I'm concerned, it needs to happen. There's so much. But, speaking of more things that happened over the weekend, Amir Khan. Yes, for those who don't know, Amir Khan is getting ready to fight Canelo Alvarez. And Amir Khan came out on Sunday morning and said on Twitter that he does not trust anybody who does not pray to God. That's right. This is exactly what he said on Twitter. Let me start off first by saying that that's his opinion. You know what I mean? I'm not offended by his opinion. If that's how he feels, that's how he feels. I will say, in response, that I felt it's a bit arrogant and a bit ignorant to say because, as you know, there are people who do pray every day who can stab you in the back just as much, okay? So, there's that. I'll just say that. However, when Amir Khan came out with this, it pissed off so many people. Boxing fans, political activists. I put it like this. Well, I should say activists. You know what I mean? People who garner free speech and people who want to silence others. And we saw a number of people just come out and go against what he was saying. And it was not just the usual comment, you're stupid, you're ignorant. But it came out, people were just getting very personal about things. Because for those who don't know, people were like, so let me get this straight. You want to sit here and say don't trust people who don't pray. Yet this is the same guy who showed his cock on Skype, right? Other people were getting very personal saying this is the same guy who decided, hey, he's going to cheat on his wife. Yeah, getting very, very personal when it comes to these issues. You know what I mean? A lot of people were saying, you can't sit here and say that. Atheists would step in and say, you're absolutely wrong for saying that because we're being self-reliant and not relying on God. And it just turned into a whole clusterfuck. It did. There's other people who were saying, hey, how do you take a picture or have someone take a picture of you or whatever while you're praying like that to show off and brag on Twitter? Like, there are so many issues that people have with this tweet. And like I said, it did offend a lot of people. You know what I mean? I would have thought that this would open discussion, on the whole free speech thing. But of course it didn't. It turned into a flame war. People were offended. They jumped all over him. And Amir Khan, what I'm wondering is if Amir Khan thought before he decided to tweet that. But I want to hear his response to this. I'm waiting to hear a response because I'm wondering if he's going to take any responsibility for saying, you know what, I should look at people on as an individual basis on a level if they can be trusted or not, regardless if they pray or not. You know what I mean? Because what he's doing is he's shaming people for those who don't pray or who don't believe in religion or whatever the case may be. That's what he's doing. And that did not sit well with a lot of people. And like I said, a lot of people were saying, I'm going to unfollow you now. A lot of boxing fans were very upset. People were saying, you know what, if that's the case, don't train at all. You should just pray that you're going to beat Canelo. Because let's be honest here, I don't think he's going to beat Alvarez. I don't think he can. All right, and he even said this up. This is the biggest fight of his life. I don't think he can beat Alvarez. I think this is going to be, he's going to take a loss on this one. Not to mention, we still see a lot of people who want to see him fight Kell Brook, and he's been ducking that fight. So, it is what it is, I guess. You can't call yourself King Khan, and you're not really in the limelight like that. You know what I mean? Like, this is your biggest fight with Alvarez. If you, mind you, Amir Khan, he was calling out Mayweather, and it was for years, and he wanted to fight Mayweather. Mind you, Mayweather destroyed Alvarez. So, if you don't beat Alvarez, this goes to show you that you were never ready for Mayweather. Just saying, okay? But there are so many other more fights on the table, so many talented fighters in this generation coming up. I would think that that's where you would focus on. But the fact that you keep ducking Kell Brook is a problem. It's a huge problem. I don't know. I don't know how you guys and girls feel on this issue, but as far as I'm concerned, I just think that he got ahead of himself, and I think that if he doesn't want to issue an apology, it's fine. But I think he should man up and say, look, okay, I was wrong on this one. I really should, like I said before, I really should treat people on an individual basis if they can be trusted or not. Because other people were saying, so you trust the guy who took the picture, you know what I mean? But you won't trust anybody who doesn't pray. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many people, like, there's so many tweets that were going after him, and it just railroaded him. And like I said, at the time, he didn't respond. So I'll be sitting and seeing what happens with this. I can only imagine how the media is going to spin this, because let's be honest here, this can hurt him in the long run. We already know, especially here in America, we already know how people feel about praying and Muslims, and it's unfair that Muslims are pretty much targeted a lot here. They just are. And but as a black person, I know how that feels. You know what I mean? At one point, the black man was the most dangerous man on earth. You know what I mean? And then after what happened with 9/11, then Muslims were like they took the front seat. And now everyone is I put it like this. I know people who will say when I'm at a venue or an establishment, or I'm walking down the street, I'll look at a Muslim first, before I look at a black person or whatever, because that's where they feel the danger is. And it's sad that people feel that way. But like I said, everyone's going to have their opinion. You know what I mean? We know that not all Muslims are bad, because if that's the case, the brothers who were on the train trying to sell you those oils, they'd have blown up the train by now. You know what I'm saying? Like they did that already. You know what I mean? Like there's so much to this that I think people don't understand. But I'm hoping that there's somewhat that I'm addressing it, that we can bring some conversation to the table, and as opposed to how the media would spin it. And like I said, this could hurt a payday in the future. You know what I mean? Like this is a really big deal. So I don't know, man. I just think it was a bad. I don't think that he thought this through first before deciding to tweet it. Granted, he's trying to show that he loves his faith, and that's pretty much what it is. He loves his faith, but you also insulted people, who think, I should say think differently, but view life differently. And that's not going to fly with a lot of promoters. That's not going to fly with a lot of boxers. That's not going to fly with a lot of fans. It can be a problem. It can. Anyways, I think I'm done. Like I said, this will be the last sports video until I get back from London. hopefully nothing happens big, so I can't talk about it before then. But if it does, it does, and we'll recap. I'll be looking into, these issues that we talked about today. And anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'll be back. Talk to you then. I'm out.